Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Go Vegan. Recently, I had the honor of being part of a special event to launch a brand new vegan book called Love is the Only Solution. As part of this event, there were beautiful songs sung by vegan singers, speeches by vegan experts, and even video messages from prominent vegans from around the world. In today's video, I want to share part of the panel discussion where 4 vegan experts discuss how climate change can be completely solved by going vegan. These 4 experts include the author of the World Peace Diet, Dr. Will Tuttle, founder of the nonprofit organization Climate Healers, Dr. Sailesh Krishna, founder of UnChainedTV, a free global streaming television platform that hosts all things vegan, Miss Jane Valez-Mitchell, founder of the Montgomery Heart and Wellness Center in Houston, Texas, United States, vegan cardiologist Dr. Baxter Montgomery. Enjoy. Our first question is on the climate crisis. Many people out there think climate change is the direct result of big corporations and that our individual choices have little to do with what's happening on our planet. What role do we as individuals play in runaway climate change, and why is love is the only solution, the only way to heal our planet? Dr. Rao, please begin.
Yeah, the most important thing that we need to do is to change our attitude towards life. And that's how we are going to heal the climate. And to me, that starts with our food choices, our consumer choices. The corporations have no choice but to go along with our choices. They are really satisfying what we want. So we, by making our food choices, determine what kind of planet we want. This is why I say as individuals we have tremendous power to change the whole planet, to change the whole system. And so it's really has to come from the grassroots. Love is the only solution. That's absolutely true.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, am I on? I think what Dr. Rao just said is the key to the whole thing. Essentially, we have 8 billion people who are having a massive negative impact on every aspect of nature and the environment. And it's really driven primarily by our food choices that are being programmed really just by the upbringing. We don't choose. Nobody chooses to actually eat the flesh and secretions of abused animals on their own. We do it because we're following orders. That's it. The only reason anyone eats animal foods is because we're following orders, usually given by very loving, well-meaning people that want to make sure we get plenty of protein and calcium. And we realize now that these orders are not in our best interest, they're not in the best interest of wildlife, of indigenous people, of every environmental system, future generations. And so we can understand this, bring our own lives into alignment with this understanding, and go forth and spread this message. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm honored to be included in this panel. Wow. These are my heroes, and just to be here chatting with them is just a thrill. Just the other day, there were articles in Distilled in Quartz that said that scientists had recommended that people switch to a plant-based diet, and the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, nixed that suggestion at the behest of the meat and dairy industry. Now that should be a front page article in the New York Times and the Washington Post. Yeah, good for Distilled in Quartz, but oh my gosh, this is, in my opinion, criminal, because we are lying about something that can mean the difference between life and death for billions of people. And yet it was ignored. This is the carnist media. And the reasons it's ignored, well, people in the media a lot of them eat meat. Most of them eat meat. So do they want to look in the mirror? So we also know, and I just found out attending the Vegan Women's Summit, that the meat industry has a giant war room in Colorado where they keep sending out stuff on the internet about how meat alternatives like Beyond Meat Burger, Impossible Burger, and all these other wonderful alternatives are somehow bad for us. And people are picking it up. I've even heard vegans repeating this mantra that is the talking point of the meat industry. So if you're watching and you're doing that, please stop. We know we're not going to have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But, you know, to compare processed vegetables versus processed meat, which is officially cancer-causing according to the World Health Organization, and to dare to say that this is unhealthy while failing to mention that processed meat is officially cancer-causing, that's just bad journalism. And then you have the government. The government is keeping the meat and dairy industry alive through its massive multi-billion-dollar subsidies. The Farm Bill is coming up for renewal this fall, and it's going to determine the course of subsidies for the next 5 years. So the reason why veganism is so threatening is they'd like us to ask the corporations to do something in March and say, have the government do something. Neither of them are going to do anything. But if we take the power back and start eating vegan meals 3 times a day, we could take the power back to reverse climate change. And that's what they're afraid of, because not everybody can afford to go out and buy a Tesla, but everybody can afford to eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains 3 times a day.
That's why we're so happy for UnChainedTV, huh? Yeah.
So that's what I tell my patients all the time when they complain about the cost of eating healthy. I says it costs you absolutely nothing to not eat bad food. It's dead animal flesh, you know, processed dairy, eggs, and the like. You mentioned the word reversal. The other day in our conversation, you mentioned the word reversal of climate change. I hear that all the time. Question number one to my esteemed experts, and because I know nothing about the global environment, I know about the human environment, the body's environment. Reversal, how long would it take to reverse, you know, this so-called issue of climate change? And one other question, Dr. Tuttle, you mentioned, you know, the whole thing of, you know, climate change and temperature change is one aspect of this whole issue we're dealing with. Can y'all address those, the reversal? How long would it take to reverse this if we stopped eating dead animal flesh?
My calculations are showing that if we stop eating animals today, okay, within a year you will see the CO2 level in the atmosphere come down by at least 18%. That's what my calculations are showing today. So it is, folks, it is so important to convince everyone you know around you to go vegan, because it is literally the choice between life and death for us, okay? And things are going haywire in a lot of systems around the world. And I'm a systems engineer, and I know that there are nonlinear systems that are being triggered. And when you trigger nonlinear systems, you don't know if they're gone beyond the point of no return. And the only way to know is to start reversing the CO2 level in the atmosphere and see if the systems are reacting in the right direction. Yeah. Until then, we don't know whether we have triggered it or not. So this is why it is so important for us to convince everyone we know to go vegan as quickly as possible, so that we start seeing the CO2 level in the atmosphere come down.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, that's reversal.
Dr. Tuttle, quick response there?
Yeah, just I think it's very important to remember that right now we're overfishing the oceans in a completely unsustainable way. We're totally bottom trawling, mid-range trawling, surface trawling. There's basically no fish left in the oceans. 2/3 of the fish we're eating now are factory farmed, which is completely devastating to ecosystems. Soil erosion is destroying millions of acres of land because we're using genetically engineered corn and soy and alfalfa to feed to these imprisoned animals, causing nutrient-rich runoff, causing massive dead zones. There's over 40 dead zones worldwide now where nothing can live because of hypoxia. So we have to understand that animal agriculture is devastating not just to the climate, but to so many other things. Deforestation. We're cutting down rainforests right now at about 3 to 4 acres per second in the Amazon. This is completely unsustainable, and it's causing the largest mass extinction of species in 65 million years. So we have to, I think, really have a broad view of the many ways that animal agriculture is destroying ecosystems, including, like here in Phoenix, basically it's sucking so much water out of the aquifers that it took millions of years to charge, and we're taking it out within a few decades. They'll be empty because it takes so much water to irrigate all the feed grains. So really important to get educated about the many dimensions of the environmental impacts of animal agriculture.
To get a free copy of Love is the Only Solution, just head to the link in the description. To watch the entire show, I'll also provide a link in the description. Remember, the one way to save our planet is to go vegan. So, let's go vegan.